Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My name is Liaquat. Ahlan wa sahlan. Welcome to my channel. If you guys are first time to this channel, check out my videos, check out the kind of things that I make. If you guys like it, hit the like button and subscribe and share it with your friends and family and contacts. Right, so this series is going through the famous book Mukhtasar al-Qudoori. It's a Hanafi text, understanding fiqh, and at the moment we're going through the chapters of prayer. So today's lesson is as follows. Al-Mutayammim. Right, you guys should know what that means. If you guys don't know what that means, go back to the videos before and try to figure it out. Mudda, it means a time or period. Khala'a, yakhla'u, means to remove. And this came in the chapter of wiping over leather socks, if you remember. Khufayhi, you guys should know that. You have a clue there. Mu'mi'an. So this word kind of came before in a verb form. It means to indicate, the person who's indicating, the indicator. And then you got sujood, ruku, tadhakkara. Tadhakkara, yatadhakkaru, tadhakkuran, it means to remember. And istakhlafa, yastakhlifu, istikhlafan, from the word khalf, you guys should know that. Tala'a, yatlu'u, to rise. Tala'at ash-shamsu, the sun rose. And jabira is a bandage or some sort of a splint or something. Right, masail is questions or matters that are explained in fiqh. Alright, so let's do a little bit of tarkeeb. So ra'a al-mutayammim is the fa'il of ra'a. As-salatihi is the majroor. Batalat salatuhu fa'il of batalat. Ba'da is the dharf, mudaf, and the rest is mudaf ilayhi. Qa'ada is fi'al plus the fa'il. At-tashahud is mudaf ilayhi of qadra. And inqadat muddatu mashihi, mudda is the fa'il of inqadat, mudaf. Khala'a khuffayhi is the maf'ul bihi, and it's actually dual, khuffayni originally. Ummiyan is the khabar of kana. Suratan is the maf'ul bihi of ta'allama. And then you got ruku and sujood, ataf onto that is majroor ala. Aw tadhakkara is fi'l plus fa'il. Qabla is mudaf, hadi is mudaf ilayhi. Ahdatha yuhdithu ihdath. Right, is the fi'l. Al-imam is the fa'il. Al-qari is the sifa of imam. Fastakhlafa ummiyan is the maf'ul bihi. Okay, and tala'at ash-shamsu. So tala'at is the fi'l, ash-shamsu is the fa'il. Fi is the jar. So tala'at ash-shamsu fa'il. Salat al-fajr. أو دخل وقت مضاف إليه becomes the فاعل. كان ماسحا على الجبيرة سقطت عن برء. كانت is فعل ناقص. مستحاضة is the خبر of كانت. برئت is the فعل plus the فاعل. Going back to she. بطلت is the فعل. By the way, مستحاضة is the خبر of كانت. صلاتهم is the فاعل. And then you've got, what else have you got over here? Okay, so salatun fi qawli Abi Hanifata. Hanifata is غير منصرف because it's a name and it's also feminine. Yusuf is name and it's على وزن فعل. Muhammadun fa'il. Tammat fi'l. Salatuhum is the fa'il and masail is the badal of hadi. Alright, so that's a bit of tarkeeb. Now the masala. Today's lesson is basically about a concept which is to do with the famous 12 masalas. These masail are known as the al-masail al-ithna ashariya. Al-masail al-ithna ashariya. These are to do with the 10 masalas, famous masalas, where there's an apparent ikhtilaf between Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala and between his two students. So what is the ikhtilaf? So imagine there's a person who's praying, right? So this is where he starts. And this is where he does his tashahud, like his last sitting, and he prays at-tahiyyat. And then right at the end, obviously, you have the salam. Okay, so let me do the salam in a different color. That's where he does salam. Looks like he's sitting on the toilet or something. Right, I do apologize. Okay, so the issue is this. Now, if any of these 12 things that are mentioned below occur anywhere over here, right, then that person's salat will be considered to be nullified, right? And I'll show you what those 12 things are. So between the start and all the way between the tashahhud. So for instance, let's say there's a guy who couldn't find water and he's done his tayammum, right? And now he's praying his salat. In the middle of his salat, between the start and the tashahhud, someone brings water to him. So that tayammum is nullified. And if the tayammum is nullified, the salat is nullified as well. So the salat is incomplete, and therefore he has to repeat the salat again. Okay, so salat breaks. Now what if, however, this has actually to occur between the tashahhud and salam? Now why are we saying this for? We're saying this because some of the later Hanafis said that according to Imam Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala, he says that the salat is complete after tashahhud when the imam does a deliberate action that takes him out of salat. For instance, like salam. So salam is a deliberate action which takes a person out of the salat. So if a person does any action which is not part of salat, which is foreign to salat, that would normally break your salat if it occurred before tashahhud, then if he does this at the salam time, if he does this at the time of, if he does this between the tashahhud and the salam, then this would complete his salat. Right? Salat would become complete. Whereas Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, they say no, tashahhud is enough. As long as he has recited at-tahiyyat, he's completed it, or he's done the action of tashahhud, doesn't have to do anything else, his salat's complete. Yes, it would be very disliked to finish the salat in this way without giving salam, but the salat is done. So let me just draw a table for you guys to show you the difference between Abu Hanifa and between the Sahibin. So everyone understand this masla, yeah? You've got Abu Hanifa saying tashahhud is not enough, you have to do an action. And Sahibin say no, tashahhud is enough as long as you've done tashahhud, which is basically to recite the tashahhud or to have that duration of tashahhud, which is about 10 to 15 seconds. Yeah, let's say 15 seconds. So these are 12 masalas that he's going to mention now. If any of these occur, according to Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, the salat is complete because as soon as you've done your tashahhud, anything that happens after that it won't affect the completion of the prayer. Yeah. And Abu Hanifa says no, there has to be a deliberate action. So if you look at these now, let's the first one, right? I'll just write the brief, like the term for the masala, right? Instead of writing the whole thing, I'll just write like one word or something. So for instance, the first masala is if a person was to do a tayammum, right? They didn't have water, and then all of a sudden they have, after tashahhud, they find water. In that case, what would the state of that salat be? So according to Imam Abu Yusuf and Imam Muhammad rahimahullah, they say that the salat will be considered to be complete, right? That's the first masala. Second masala is wiping over socks. So you know, wiping over socks, you have a duration which is 24 hours for the resident, 3 days for the traveler. If you can't remember this masala, I've actually explained it previously in the chapter of, if you go through the playlist, check out the chapter of the wiping over leather socks, and over there you'll find the masala. So if a person's time of expiration occurs after tashahhud, right, before salam, will the salat be considered complete? Of course, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad say yes, it will be complete because the tashahhud is done and that's enough. Whereas Abu Hanifa says no, that would not be considered to fall under a deliberate act. Right, it's just something that was coincidental. Right, so let me just illustrate here. This is his leather socks, and you know that is the let's say the 24 hours is right up, and it, you know, coincidentally the 24 hours is up as soon as he's done the tashahhud. Right, so like I said, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad would say the salat would be considered to be complete, and Abu Hanifa rahimahullah would say no, it's not complete. All right, number 3 is when it comes to removing of the socks. So let's say, for example, after tashahhud, I had my leather socks on and I happened to just accidentally remove them. Like I scratched my foot and they came off. One came off. And we know that if your leather socks come off, then the feet must be washed again. So that in this case would mean that Abu Hanifa would say the salat has become nullified, has to repeat again. And the Sahibain say no, because the tashahhud is done, it would be sufficient. Number 4 is if a person didn't know how to read Quran, and after tashahhud they automatically learned how to read Quran, right? All of a sudden, I don't know, some miracle happened. They learn how to read Quran. What's going to happen in this situation? In this situation, the person's prayer, according to Abu Hanifa and Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, the prayer would be complete. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah would say, no, it's not, because learning how to read Quran is not a deliberate action. It was just coincidental. So that's number 4. And number 5 is clothes. Let's say there's a person who doesn't have any clothes. They just have their underwear. And they were praying their salat in their underwear, which normally you're not supposed to. But if there's a necessity, then you can. And then all of a sudden, they found clothes. When did they find clothes? Right after tashahhud. So is the salat going to be considered to be complete? Abu Yusuf and Muhammad say yes, the salat is complete. Abu Hanifa rahimahullah says no, salat is not complete, because finding clothing is a coincidental act. It is not a deliberate action which takes you out of salat. Number 6 is, let's say there's a person who was incapable of performing ruku and sujood. All of a sudden, after tashahhud, they felt strength in their body and they were able to do the ruku and sujood. Would this mean that now they would have to repeat their salat again? Abu Hanifa says yes, they would have to, because this is a coincidental occurrence. Whereas Abu Yusuf and Muhammad say salat is complete. Right, number 7. So this is where a person hasn't prayed the previous prayer and then remembers this in the salat, right, after tashahhud. Then this person would be considered to be someone who would have to repeat their prayer according to Abu Hanifa. Sahibain say no, the tashahhud is done, so the salat will not become nullified. Right, so what does this exactly mean? Because a lot of people are probably unaware of this. So according to Hanafis, you must pray all your prayers in sequence. So let's say you missed your Fajr in the morning and now it's Dhuhr time. You actually have to pray your Fajr first and then you pray your Dhuhr. If you prayed your Dhuhr and inside your Dhuhr you realized you haven't prayed your Fajr, you have to break your Dhuhr and start your Fajr, pray your Fajr and then pray your Dhuhr. Right, the Qadha of the Fajr. So what they're saying is, if a person remembered this after the Tashahhud, do they have to break their Dhuhr and start their Fajr? Sahibain, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad say no, they don't have to. Salat's complete. Abu Hanifa says yes, must. Okay, so this is basically the issue, masala. I just hope I'm not going too fast for you guys. If I am going too fast, please let me know. Number 8. Right, so number 8 is, let's say for example, like the Imam who is able to recite Quran is praying his salat, and then all of a sudden what happens is he breaks his wudu accidentally, and we know if you break your wudu accidentally, you can leave the prayer, perform your wudu, come back. But you have to put someone in charge, so you put someone in your place. So let's say the only person there he put not the only person there, but the person that he put forward was an ummi, someone who couldn't read Quran. Right, he put him forward. Now this would normally nullify the salat, right, if it occurred anywhere in the salat. But what about after tashahhud? Sahibain say salat's complete, doesn't matter. Abu Hanifa says no, it would nullify the salat. Okay, what if you're praying your fajr and all of a sudden after tashahhud the sun rises? So if the sun rises right after the tashahhud, then Abu Hanifa says this is coincidental and this would not take the person out of their salat. Salat's nullified. And Sahibain, on the other hand, they say that the salat is considered to be complete because the tashahhud has been performed. So notice what's happening. In all these scenarios, if they normally occurred in salat, they would nullify the salat. But because they've occurred after tashahhud, Sahibain say the salat is considered to be complete. Number 10 is, what if this happened at Asr time? Dhuhr time. Jum'ah or Dhuhr. A person was praying their Jum'ah or their Dhuhr, and then all of a sudden Asr time entered. Right, meaning the salat time finished, and Asr time enters after the tashahhud. Sahibain say salat's complete, and Abu Hanifa says no, the salat is being nullified and must do qadha of it. 11 is, what if there is a person who has a bandage on, right, and that bandage is like on their wound and they haven't been washing that limb, they've been wiping over it because they've been given dispensation by the Sharia. So now all of a sudden what happens is that the bandage falls off and they found that their hand or arm or whatever has healed. What do they have to do? Do they have to repeat their salat again? So Sahibain say if this occurs after tashahhud, salat is complete. And Abu Hanifa says, no, salat is not complete. Right? And finally, number 12 is that if a woman who is mustahadha, who's suffering from a condition where her wudu continuously breaks non-stop, the Sharia has given her dispensation that she simply has to perform a wudu for every salat time, and it lasts all the way until the other salat starts. So let's say, for example, like this woman who is in the state of istihadha, she just becomes well, right? She's no longer bleeding. Then what? Normally, if this happened in salat, it would break your salat. Sahibain say, if it occurs after the tashahhud, salat is considered complete. Abu Hanifa says, no, salat is not complete because these actions are coincidental. This wasn't something that she deliberately done. Right? So these are basically the masalas, all of these masalas. So let me just read these masalas to you guys so you guys understand. So you can follow me in the text. وَإِن رَأَى الْمُتَيَمِّمْ, if the mutayammim person sees water fi salatihi, whilst in salat, batalat salatuhu, his salat will become nullified. وَإِن رَآهُ بَعْدَ مَا قَعَدَ قَدَرَ التَّشَهُدِ, if however he was to see it after he sat for the duration of tashahhud, or number one, number two, أو كان ماسحا, or he had previously wiped over his leather socks, فَانْقَضَتْ مُدَّةُ مَسِحِهِ, and the period of wiping expired, or number three, أو خَلَعَ خُفَيْهِ, or he took off his leather socks, بِعَمَلٍ قَلِيلٍ, with little action. Because if he did a lot of action, that would, according to Abu Hanifa, that would be enough to take him out of salat. أو كان أميا, or he was someone who was unable to read Quran, فَتَعَلَّمَ سُورَةً, and then he learns how to read a surah all of a sudden after tashahhud. أو أُرْيَانًا, or he was naked, فَوَجَدَ ثَوْبًا, and then he finds some clothing to wear. أو مُؤْمِيًا, or he was someone who was unable to do ruku and sujood, meaning pray with indication, فَقَدَرَ عَلَى الرُّكُوءِ وَالسُّجُودِ, and now he's all of a sudden capable of performing ruku and sujood. أو تذكر أن عليه صلاة, or he remembered that he has a salat necessary upon him قبل هذه, before this, like he's praying his dhuhr, but he remembers, oh yeah, I missed my fajr, and he remembers this right at the tashahhud time, after tashahhud. Or أحدث الإمام القاري, or like number 8, the imam who is able to recite Quran breaks his wudu accidentally after tashahhud and puts forward someone who's incapable of reading Quran. أو طلعت الشمس, number 9, or the sun rises whilst he's in salat of fajr after tashahhud. أو دخل وقت العصر في الجمعة, or the time of asr enters in Jum'ah prayer, and it can be dhuhr as well. أو كان ماسحا, or he had previously wiped over a bandage, على جبيرة, فسقطت عن برء, and it fell off whilst he had healed. أو كانت, finally, last but not least, كانت مستحاضة, she was suffering from istihadha, فبرئت, and then she becomes better. بطلت صلاتهم, all of these 12 cases, their salat will become nullified, whether it happens before tashahhud or after tashahhud. في قول أبي حنيفة رحمه الله تعالى, according to Abu Hanifa. وقال أبو يوسف, and Abu Yusuf rahimahullah, he says that, and Muhammad, تمت صلاتهم, their salat is considered complete في هذه المسائل, in these masalas. If it was, however, before tashahhud, then even they would agree with Abu Hanifa that the salat becomes nullified. So the ikhtilaf difference is only after tashahhud, right? And that's it basically. So this is the mas'ala with regards to this. And like I said to you guys, if any of these things, so on all these masalas, Abu Yusuf and Muhammad, they all say it's fine, 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 simply because the main issue is, has the tashahhud been done? Yes, salat's done. Anything that happens after that, we don't have to consider it. Yes, it is not the best way to finish your salat, and it is considered to be highly disrespectful and maybe even sinful as well. Whereas Abu Hanifa rahimahullah, in all of these scenarios, 12 scenarios, he says salat is not done. Salat is broken. Right? Why? Because he does not consider tashahhud to be sufficient. Right? He doesn't say tashahhud is sufficient. He says that after tashahhud there must be a deliberate action. Okay, so this is the ikhtilaf over there, and I hope this is something that makes sense. Yeah, so deliberate action according to Abu Hanifa rahimahullah ta'ala. Now this issue, if any of these were to occur over here, that's where the ikhtilaf is. But if they were to occur over on the other side, over here, then everyone says the salat will become nullified. Just remember that, right? Now, when you study the advanced books of fiqh, you're going to learn about these 12 masalas, right? And it's actually considered to be from the takhrij of Abu Sa'id al-Barda'i, right? It's from the takhrij of Abu Sa'id al-Barda'i, and this is something maybe if I go into Hidayah, I'll talk about this more in more detail. But otherwise, for now, all you have to understand is what the masala means. So there you have it. I hope you guys have benefit from this. Inshallah, next lesson we're going to start the new chapter. And alhamdulillah, we're going at a right pace as well. If you guys enjoy this lesson, hit the like button. I really appreciate it. And patrons, thank you very, very much. May Allah reward you immensely from the depths of my heart. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Jazakumullah khair for watching this video. I hope to see all of you guys. If you guys are interested, please leave us feedback, get in contact with us. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Jazakumullah khair guys for all of your support. Without your support, I wouldn't have been able to produce the videos that I've put up on my YouTube channel. And there is so much more that I really want to do. And without the support of you guys who are patrons, generously supporting this channel, I've been able to get myself a camera, which as you guys can see the quality of this camera, a mic system, software. I've been able to hire an editor. So what do I want to do? I want to make lots and lots and lots of more videos for beginners, for intermediate, advanced in the subjects like Arabic and fiqh and hadith and tafsir and aqidah and all those other things as well. And for this to happen, again, this channel needs support. So if you guys want to become patrons and support this channel, then check out the link below. Also, if you do become patrons, you'll have access to videos that I don't put up on my normal YouTube channel. So check that out, inshallah. And there's most other perks as well that you guys can benefit from. And if you want to access this channel through social media, we've got Twitter, we've got Instagram, Facebook page, and other things as well that you can visit. So Jazakumullah khair again guys. Thank you very much for your support. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.